What's going on, guys? Welcome to, I would say this is a BoxInOne episode. Funny enough, we spent about an hour and a half talking just about life. Chad was sharing some stories. We were talking about my basketball fields. Rois was sharing some stories. You know, there's certain characteristics in certain individuals that are red flags. We're not going to get into that. But if you hear a certain person from a certain area in California may rhyme with Oxnard, may not rhyme with Oxnard, you know you got to stay away from that individual. Close that back door. Hashtag close that back door. With that being said, though, in today's little mini episode, NBA Christmas is here. At the time of recording this video, it is December 20th, Saturday, 12:44 p.m. Don't know why you needed the time. I'm going to give y'all my social security next. But with that being said, I'm going to start with Daniel. Before I start with Daniel, I'm going to just talk about these games. We got the Cavs taking on the Knicks in New York. We got the Spurs and Thunder rematch from that NBA Cup matchup, and we're probably also going to get into that later today. We've got the Mavericks taking on the Golden State Warriors. Clay's return this season to the Bay with Cooper Flag. We got the Rockets, Houston flying into LA, taking on the three-headed GOAT of Braun, Luka, and Reeves. And then concluding that Christmas Day slate, we got the Timberwolves and Nuggets in a rematch from an amazing playoff series. Obviously, the Nuggets won that first one, 2023, 4-1. Then Nuggets losing at home, blowing a 20-point lead in 2024 in a 7-game series. Gobert, midi fadeaway. We already knew this series was wrapped from there. But I'm going to start with, actually, no, I said I would start with Daniel. I'm actually going to start with roischand first because the first matchup are the Cavs and the Knicks. Starting with you, Rois. How you feel about the Cavs, and who do you have winning these Christmas Day matchups?
You know, I'm saying the Cavs are going to win that just because I got to rock with my guys. Not because I actually think we're going to win a game. It's a in Cleveland right now. Literally no one can stay healthy. Guys aren't playing like on their Supermax contracts how we thought they would be playing. The sets are terrible. The bench is terrible. People can't shoot. So I'm going to say the Cavs are going to win just off delusion, but I think the Knicks got that. You know, Jalen Brunson having an incredible year again. Cat doing his thing. OG, Hart, all those guys finally healthy. Hart's back, playing like one of the best role players in the league. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think the Knicks win that game by a lot.
Daniel, how you feeling?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I just think, especially in this past game with an NBA Cup against the Spurs, I know that was a while back as well, but they just looked a lot better. And honestly, I feel like the Cavs are kind of dwindling down. So I just think the Knicks they're overall the better team, and I think they're gonna win. I don't think it's gonna be by a lot, but I'd say around maybe 8 or 9 points.
And then wrapping it up for his first matchup, Chad, how's it?
All right, you know what? I'm going to go against the grain. Give me Cleveland. Give me Cleveland because it's like, well, Cavs are on a slump. They've been looking horrible. I'm not saying the Cavs are like elite, but at the same time, I'm still not sold on a Mike Brown-led Knicks team. I'm really not. And I feel like Cleveland eventually, they're good enough to get out the slump. And I feel like the Knicks game is going to be the start of them, you know, putting together a streak. So just based off that, I'm going to go with Cleveland. And I'm going to say Donovan Mitchell, 35-point bomb is going to be what puts him barely over the Knicks.
I think, honestly, I'm going to agree with Chad here. You know, as a Boston Celtics fan, it just feels kind of grimy going for the New York Knicks after that last year playoff series. I do think the Knicks on paper, in terms of how they've been playing right now, are the better team, obviously just winning an NBA Cup. I'm not going to put an asterisk against that win. I will say that, you know, it was revealed that Victor Wembanyama did, you know, his grandma passed away the same day on the NBA Cup, so condolences out to him and his family. The reason I bring that up is because I think all of us watching the game were not confused, but it you know, there was a general feeling of like sometimes Wemby was forcing shots, but obviously playing through grief or any type of emotional stress. That does show up on the court from time to time. We've seen that again and again in Isaiah Thomas. We've seen that time and time again with certain players, right? And I do think that was not the best San Antonio team mentally in terms of playing the Knicks team, especially after what we saw they did against the Thunder, you know, 2 days ago. But I digress. I'm going to still give New York credit for that win. I think Donovan Mitchell, last time he played Cleveland, had 38, and it was like it was about a 6-point loss. I'm not going to say the other number. It was about a 6-point loss. And this was off of Donovan Mitchell, you know, 30, 35 bomb, like Chad said. But you also got Jalen Tyson, you got Tyrese Proctor. It's not even like the Cavs don't have a bench. They just need to be more consistent. Lonzo Ball is not really doing what Ty Jerome did in terms of providing that offensive spark, and also on the facilitation end, it's a little bit questionable right now, but it's also questionable because a guy like DeAndre Hunter not hitting his shots. Darius Garland, one day he'll go 6 of 17 from the field because he went 0 of 11 from 3, and then the next game he'll go for 33 like he did last night. So it really just depends what Cavs are showing up. I do think, Mobley is, giving you more than 18 and 8 in the games he is playing. Now, he's heard the slander. It really just depends. Realistically, this game just comes down to, are they going to be able to ice out Mitchell Robinson? Because even in that Spurs game, the offensive rebounding, oh my goodness, that was killing San Antonio. And I kind of get it now, in 2023 when I was ragging on Cleveland for losing against the Knicks, I'm like, with a guy like, Mitchell Robinson, like, low-key, I get it. Not going to hold you. I understand it. One of the best, if not the best offensive rebounder in the league. He's a rim protector. He's a guy that, that Morgan Wallen in the pregame is working for him. I guess it locks him in. But I'm still going to say I don't think they really got an answer for Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks on paper should win this game, but Donovan Mitchell is a guy who, we've seen go for 71, 11, and 8. I'm not saying he's going to do that in the Garden, but I do think Christmas time, you can't go home to Coco Jones on a loss. I do think Donovan Mitchell we might see a 50 piece to start off, but I am rocking with Cleveland to win this. Next matchup, the rematch of arguably the best game of the NBA season so far. The Spurs and the Thunder, this time OKC at home. The last game this past Tuesday was the NBA Cup semifinals of the Western Conference, the Thunder and the Spurs. Wemby, masterclass on minutes restrictions, 22 and 9 in 20 minutes. He had a plus 21 plus minus. Dylan Harper, you so tough. As another left-handed player, you so tough. I mean, his pace control. He plays like a vet. You have Stephon Castle doing great things. Julian Champagnie doing great things. You had Keldon Johnson giving you decent minutes. You had Devin Vassell sparking the Thunder, man. Wow, that was just all incredible to see. And they also picked up a good win against the Hawks last night. The Thunder, they did not win last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder, Anthony Edwards. Yeah, we like that. Literally had the fan, like, like those scenarios y'all make in y'all head. Like, we've all been playing basketball before solo, and we think about what's the scenario we can make that makes me look good. Dagger 3, blocked his shot, stripped him in the clutch. That's about the perfect, scenario if you Anthony Edwards you could come up with against a guy that bounced you out of the playoffs. Obviously, the Thunder still 24 and 3. They still 25 and 3, excuse me. They're still an elite team. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to start with you, Daniel. Between the Spurs and Thunder round 2, who you got winning the one?
I got the Spurs because I feel like within their most recent lineup, or Thunder's most recent lineup, pardon me, they're actually 0-2 with SGA, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Hartenstein. And I just think that's crazy itself. Maybe they might not obviously run with that lineup. I feel like their coach might switch it up. But I think on top of that, I just think the Spurs just have the better A game. I mean, they have Stephon Castle. They have obviously Victor Wembanyama. Even Harrison Barnes has been playing pretty solid in my opinion. So you have all those guys. And yes, the Thunder are a great team. They're still, like you said, 21 and 3? Or 24 and 3?
25.
25 and 3. Yeah. So but I just think they just have their A game. I think that's their kryptonite. And I know that's maybe not the best terms of analogy, but that's what I see from them.
Rois, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Daniel, and I got 2 words. Victor Wembanyama, must-see TV. But now for, what me and Joachim were talking about...
That's 4 words.
That's the joke, buddy. That's a joke.
It's actually 5, but, continue.
Like what we're talking about, the, downhill scorers, how the Thunder can't stop that. The Spurs just have, too many of that kind of archetype of players. Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper. You might be able to stop one of them. You're definitely not going to stop all of them. And also, I'm just a delusional believer in what the Spurs are going to do. I feel like this is a championship team already. I feel like the sky is the ceiling on this team. There's nothing they can't do this year, but I also think their floor is kind of low. But yeah, I think they can knock them off for second time in a week? About a week, yeah. I got the Spurs.
Yeah, how we feeling?
This is kind of a pick 'em. I think it's going to be very close, but low-key, I'm going to go with the Thunder. I don't think as a championship team, I don't think you lose to the same team within, a 13-day span. That's just hard to see for me. The last game was also really close. I'm going to go with this Thunder. I'm going to trust that they're going to make the proper adjustments to try to counter, because I still love their defense. I think this defense is one of the best I've seen in, at least the past decade of hoops. They have a good defense, and Wemby's definitely going to get 30 on their head. no minute restriction, Wemby, he's going to get 30. But I feel like Shea's going to sadly get to the line, the usual free throw bit, at least get 10 of those. Thunder should win by 4. I'm going to go OKC.
I think that's a solid take. I would say that the thing Royce and I talked about on the pod, and I feel like, again, like we kind of predicted it. When you don't let the Thunder get into their half-court sets, because they're a team with so many different sets to set up J-Dub, to set up Shea, to set up Chet, to set up Luke Dort in the corner, Aaron Wiggins, AJ Mitchell, Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace, Jalen Williams, the other one. You got Topic coming back from his chemotherapy, which is great to see, obviously. You got Thomas Sawyer, who they haven't even played yet. Like, yo, this team has everybody. You got Caruso. There's two weaknesses, though, to this Thunder team. Number one, their post game is not the greatest compared to other teams. I think even when we look at the Denver Nuggets series, when Jokic was pretty much frying them for a bit, then they started throwing the BoxInOne, no pun intended, but shout out to us. They started throwing Caruso. They started throwing multiple bodies at Nikola Jokic. But Chet Holmgren is not stopping Victor Wembanyama one-on-one. Isaiah Hartenstein is not stopping Victor Wembanyama one-on-one. Initially, when Wemby wasn't playing and Cornette was the only big, they were getting those defensive rebounds a lot more. Once Cornette started boxing out, then it was more opportunities, right? Once Johnson, started putting their bodies on the line for those rebounds, even guys like Harper and Castle really just getting in those rebounding. It's a small little gap between the rebounder coming to the defender and the offensive player and them kind of getting in those little gaps on the floor and getting those balls back, pause if needed. I think that's really what separated the Spurs and the Thunder. The Spurs just are a much more quicker team downhill, and on top of that, they could guard the Thunder man-to-man in every position very well. And I think even last night what we saw against the Timberwolves, when you put a guy on Shea that can just stay with him like an Ant or like a Vassell, like a Castle, like a Harper, it's harder for him, even in the clutch, to really get the buckets he wants, right? And I think when you put 3 different bodies on these guys and they're just moving with the screens and they're fighting through it, and even if you switch, all these guys can really just bite down. And this is, a Spurs perimeter defense that don't even have Carter Bryant yet. I'm still holding out hope that, Barnes gets a little older and Johnson, kind of is that number one wing. That's where you let Carter Bryant out the gate, because there's one thing that kid can do. He may go 0-7, but that plus minus is going to be 22 because his man went like 3 of 26, right? He is a defensive guy. Obviously, he's not going to probably get that many minutes, if any, on Christmas. But I am picking the Spurs. I do agree with Chad, though. I wouldn't be shocked if the Thunder win. I don't think a championship team, I foresee them losing to the same exact team in, 11, 12 days. But I do think, again, this is Wemby, no minutes restriction. This is Wemby obviously still playing through grief, but also probably a more mentally locked in Wemby. The Spurs looked a lot more congealed last night. Obviously, it's the Atlanta Hawks, but still. So I am going with the Spurs to win. That leads us to our next matchup, and probably the worst matchup of the night. Mavericks and Warriors. I think we're all asleep for this one. I'm going to say Steph always plays great on Christmas, so he's probably going for like 40 and a loss. Cooper Flag game winner, I'm calling it right now, and it's going to be on Draymond Green. Cooper Flag 30 piece, and he's saying I'm him in Chase Arena, and Clay celebrating so crazy. He hugging Meg somewhere in the crowd. I think the Mavericks win if Anthony Davis is playing, which I'm pretty sure he is. We have no bigs. Our team sucks. Stephen Curry is in the 99th percentile for shot making. The team in total is in the 1 percentile for shot making. Tell me how that makes sense. It doesn't. But I think the Dallas Mavericks, I can see the Warriors winning just off a Steph Curry job, but I'm not even picking nobody in this game. I feel like either it's going to be the game of the year or it's going to be a mid-off. It's no real in between, but I think Cooper Flag going to have his way. I'm thinking a 37 piece on Christmas. Possibly a dagger 3 as well, and then Draymond gonna get on the pod talking about I'll fail my matchup. But I'm gonna go with Royce first because I know how much he loved the Warriors.
I don't know, man. I think this is probably the most 50-50 game. I will say 2:00. That's probably when I'm gonna be eating Christmas dinner. This game has literally no appeal. Like, the Warriors are playing terrible. AD's probably gonna get hurt in the game. They don't even have half their team. I will say I got the Warriors winning this. Like Joachim said, Steph plays well on Christmas, and I think this is like a turning point game. He's not going to let Clay come back and like start dancing on the logo and stuff like that. So I think just based off like the back of Steph Curry, they're going to they're gonna win. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to this game at all.
One thing I do want to say is if I see a D'Angelo Russell dagger, I'm literally just turning my TV off and watching Stranger Things. If I hadn't already watched it, I'm being so honest. If I see Russell 3, good, yeah, turn the TV off. We on Fortnite. Daniel, going to you though. How you feeling?
Yeah, I think Joachim said it very well. I do think Curry is gonna have he's gonna have a great game. Even last year he had a very fantastic game. On Christmas. He played on Christmas last year, didn't he? Yeah. I remember who he played. But yeah. With that being said, though, I do think that the Cooper Flag Mavericks are gonna take over this game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think it's gonna be a close game. But I want to say around maybe Cooper is gonna maybe have like 30 points, 30 around that range because I just think. I mean, look at his averages recently. I mean, he took a dub with a double-double, 23 and 10 and 4 against the Pistons, which are a pretty solid team. And then 42 against the Jazz. Yes, that was a loss, but yeah, he's been cooking. And I feel like he's going to rise back on top again. And I think even from there, I know obviously we're talking about today's games. I think from there, this is where the true moment of where Cooper Flag takes an insane leap. But like I do see the Warriors could winning if Curry plays well. But I mean, they have no center. If the Mavericks do get back AD, then I do think this is going to be kind of not only just a Cooper Flag game, but also like more of like a stagnant in the paint moment, if that makes any sense, or type of game. But yeah, I'd go with the Mavericks though.
I didn't expect that. We already calling it Cooper Flags Mavericks. But continue, Chad. How you feeling about it?
So AD is like for sure playing or is like almost a lock? That's really my first question. Because that's going to basically determine the matchup. But if AD plays, I think the Mavs, we're all agreeing Cooper Flag is going to go off. He's going to get his lick in.
Yeah, he pretty much a lock. He might miss tonight because he's a little sick, but I think he pretty much a lock.
See, I don't know. I mean, it's the great mid-off. See, it's either going to be the Mavs go in and just beat the brakes off the Warriors because the Warriors are just not big enough and they're too old. Or it's going to be just a massive collapse by the Mavs, and then Steph Curry 30 bomb. There's no in between. But, yeah, I'm going to go Mavs, because it's just the pick that makes the most sense. Curry's going to do the usual carry job. Al Horford might give you 7. Draymond is just, just going to get fried by Cooper all night, and then be like, my bad, chat. It's like, I'm not even sure why this is even a Christmas game, to be honest. Like, I don't get how the Warriors get a Christmas game, but
it was scheduled before the season started.
Yeah, I know.
They were expecting like Kyrie, AD Flag. They were expecting the Warriors to like maybe get Markkanen or somebody. Yeah, yeah.
But
no.
The Pistons should be paying on Christmas.
Kyrie, I don't think his return day is going to be sometime in January. So it's like, yeah, I'm not sure why this is even a game. I'm probably not going to watch it, but I guess Mavericks, assuming they don't act like they have CTE, but I could see the Warriors doing it. This is just such a boring matchup. And this pains me because I like the Warriors. Even as a Celtic fan, I like the Warriors, but it's like, bro, you all have it. It's been 2-3 years straight, and they still haven't solved their big problem. It's just they're really going to piss off Steph's one chance to get ring 5.
Yeah, I think this is not a Steph Curry video, but the fact that he's averaging like 25, no, he's averaging 29, excuse me, and his splits are like 54. It's 54. Actually, hold on. I just want to make sure it's 50, 40, 90 before I say anything about a 37-year-old guard doing what he's doing. But let me look at Steph Curry. He's averaging 28.8, 4 with a steal and a half, so basically 2 stocks per game. 47 from the field, 40 from 3, 91 from the free throw line, and only 5 free throw attempts per game. So he's basically 37 going on 38 in 3 months with averaging 29 on a 50, 40, 90 season. That's what Steph Curry's doing. And we have Jimmy Butler who's doing his thing, but Jimmy Butler's game and Steph Curry's game, like he's not Durant from the mid-range, right? He's a slasher, he's a driver, he's kind of a Swiss Army knife, but the games don't necessarily really complement each other. You don't have a big Draymond Green doesn't really have it going on offense anymore. You don't have any more spot-up shooters. The Buddy Hield Bahamas juice wore off in that Game 7 against the Houston Rockets. Didn't do anything after that. Brandon Pajemski still doesn't know how to run an offense. Pat Spencer's our third option, guys. I want everybody to think. And look, the Spencer bros are actually hooping.
He's been nice. They've been hooping.
They have been hooping. If you really look at his younger brother too, it's Pat.
You're telling me he's been hooping. I
Yeah,
saw that.
yeah, no, he has. I mean, he's a guy that does kind of fit into that like inspired by Steph archetype. But yeah, it's one of those games where like it truly is a mid-off. I don't think anybody's looking forward to the currently 11-17 Mavs and the 13-15 Warriors battling for who gets to get 50 balled by whoever the 8th seed is in the Western Conference, probably the Phoenix Suns. They're just battling for BTA come April. And that's cool. Steph, if you really love winning, go request a trade. I'm going to say that right now. The Warriors want your future. Go trade Steph Curry for a bunch of first-round picks and some young players. And you know where we're going to trade Steph Curry? San Antonio. Anyways, next matchup, we're not gonna trade Steph to San Antonio. Rockets and Lakers. This is not a mid-off. I don't want to insult Daniel. This is not a mid-off, but I do kind of feel like, and I'm going to start with you, Chad, in a second. I don't really feel like this matchup don't really entice me too much. I think my thing with the Rockets is Alperen Şengün and KD are like playing hot potato for who gets to be the number one option. They don't really have like a clear defined game plan. It's just like, yeah, let's have everybody score. Jabari Smith Jr. averaging 16. Reed Shepherd averaging 13, 4 and 4. I mean, Reed Shepherd, he hooping ever since, if you know what we said on the first opening night about how Reed Shepherd plays. He been hooping ever since then. I was always a Reed Shepherd believer. I'm happy that Reed Shepherd is hooping. With that being said, Amen Thompson, everybody's talking about like the leap. Samajai was saying like, yo, could he be as dominant as Giannis? Not this season, not next season. That's Jalen Johnson, buddy. Don't know why we just started giving Amen the keys to the future. It's Jalen Johnson leap, buddy. As I was saying though, the Lakers are doing good things, 19-7. The Rockets are 18-6. I believe they're 3rd and 4th in the Western Conference respectively. Rockets are just coming off of a disappointing loss to the Pelicans, blowing a 20-point lead in OT despite KD having an amazing game. Like KD went crazy in the 3rd and then in the 4th, he's like, I don't gotta touch the ball. I'm gonna let the young guys do their thing. You're Kevin Durant. Please score. Please score, brother. And then the Lakers, beat the Utah Jazz. Shout out Keontae George, all-star, but beat the Utah Jazz. Luka with 45, 11, 14, and 5. Absolutely crazy stat line, but none of these teams this year have really impressed us in the Western Conference, where I feel like just the Spurs, the Nuggets, and the Thunder are like so far head and shoulders above everybody right now, especially since Jamal Murray remember how to play basketball. Like I said, I'm going to start with you, Chad. Enough of me talking. Rockets, Lakers, the Houston, going to the LA, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. I don't know. I'm sure Drake got a bar about this somewhere. Who are you picking to win this matchup and why?
I might pick the Lakers, actually, surprisingly. And it's not really, I'm not sold on either of these teams. I think the Rockets have an edge because the Rockets are just bigger in size than the Lakers. The Lakers are a very small team. But I feel like Luka and Reeves should have good games. And it's going to be one of those white boy 30-point nights. And that's just going to be just enough to beat the Rockets. And I don't know. The lack of the real one option in Houston concerns me to a point where I can't put them definitively over the Lakers. Their defense and the rebounding is definitely going to be better for Houston. But the thing about that is it doesn't mean nothing if you're wasting offensive possessions and you're giving the ball right back. And, coming up empty. And I feel like they don't take advantage of their size. It's like I said, with the first 2-3 months of basketball, you're trying to find your identity. I still think 2 months in, Houston Rockets don't have a real offensive identity or have a cohesive system. So I'm going to pick the Lakers to beat the Rockets. I think it's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be at best a 6-point loss or an 8-point loss for the Rockets, but the Lakers should win.
I think, and I'm going to go to Daniel next week. I'm going to go to Rois last because I know Daniel, the Lakers fan here. It is kind of funny thinking about the concept of Reed Shepherd guarding Luka Doncic or Austin Reeves. I know you said it was going to be a white boy game. Might be some white on white crime on the court if they really put Reed Shepherd in an isolation against either of those guys. Prayers out to you, buddy. Daniel, I'm going to go with you, though. How you feeling about this matchup?
I do agree with Chad. I do think the Lakers are going to win, but I do think it's going to expose, or the Rockets are going to expose a lot of the Lakers' flaws, which is defense, and also on top of that, just the the depth in the bench as well. Lakers are, I think, dead last when it comes to bench scoring. And yeah, it's gotten better. Like I believe Marcus Smart and then Hayes, they both had like around like 15 or 17 against the Jazz, which helped a lot. But at the end of the day, we only won by like 6 or 8, and that's against the Utah Jazz. The Jazz are not a good team. So that being said, I do think the Lakers are going to win just based off if Luka and LeBron play well. I know Chad was talking about Austin Reeves, but I know Austin Reeves right now has a calf injury. I don't know if he is going to be back in on time, but if he does come back, then I just think that overall power of the offense of those two white boys, just playing together, I can see them kind of getting that dub based off that. But the way the Rockets can win this game is if they expose the Lakers' pretty mid defense, and on top of that, use their bench or their bench debt, or they take advantage of that weak bench debt is what I'm trying to say. But I do think the Lakers are gonna win. Obviously, there's some bias because I'm a Laker fan, but it all comes down to how Luka plays. Even in LeBron, like I said earlier, how he plays, because LeBron has been hooping. I believe he had 28 on with the Jazz as well. And honestly, as tired as I'm getting of LeBron putting up 30 for us because we suck sometimes, um, we do need him when Reeves is hurt, and that's very unfortunate. But if Reeves is hurt, then we need Luka and LeBron to play well and play stagnant offense. But if they don't play stagnant offense, then it's GG's.
This is going to be a Rui Hachimura 26 on 6 of 11 from 3 game. I'm just letting everybody know. Royce, I'm going with you, though. How you feeling about this matchup?
Yeah, I'm going to go against both of y'all. I think the Rockets got this one. Mainly because of their defense. You guys are talking about their offense and all that. Top 5 defense, that's been their identity this season, that they haven't really, they're still figuring out. Is Şengün the number 1? Is KD the number 1? But I think their defense is what's put them over the top of a lot of teams this year. Yeah, they've had a lot of mental lapses this year. Like the OKC game was very winnable. The lead that they blew to the Pelicans. Yeah, Men Thompson, Josh Okogie, their paint defense is really solid. Just amount of versatility they have on defense. Like you guys are saying, Luka's going to get his 30, 35, whatever. Reeves is going to do
what
I'm
saying is if he can't get that, which is coming off of Houston's great defense, as you're saying, then it's going to be wraps. I think Houston can win based off that. But if they can't,
oh yeah, but I'm saying
yeah.
No one can stop Luka in general. It's kind of like Shea. Even if the Thunder lose or the Lakers lose, Luka's still going to score 35 points, right? So I feel like the defense is going to put them over the edge. DeAndre Ayton on Christmas, the lights are too bright, buddy. I mean, we'll see what LeBron does. LeBron's kind of been 50-50 this year, sort of leaning into being a playmaker. Is he going to actually do that for a whole year? Probably not. Is he going to want to look to take over on Christmas? Probably. But yeah, it will definitely be a close game. It'll definitely go into crunch time. But yeah, I got the Rockets winning.
Yeah, I think that's something that, Royce pointed that out. The Rockets are top 3 in both offensive and defensive rating. I think outside of the Thunder, they're the only team that can say that in the NBA. I don't know if the Pistons are there as well or not, but they're top 3 in both offensive and defensive rating. I think really it just does depend if Austin Reeves plays. If he doesn't play, I don't know who's going to be that guy to step up for Los Angeles. I mean, you've got Rui Hachimura, Ayton, Smart, but it's not really like another type of ball handler that can really open up that.
You can't rely on them either, to be honest.
Yeah, you can't have them really open up that floor space. I'm interested to see with no Reeves if Dalton Connect gets any minutes. I know he's a guy that, at least with his shooting, can space the floor out. Defensively, though, I'm not really like, you gonna have Connect on KD. KD might actually start remembering he's KD and go for 40. But honestly, I think if Austin Reeves plays, I can see the Lakers squeaking one out. If Austin Reeves does not play, I'm more inclined to pick Houston. I think they are a bigger team. You got Jabari Smith, you got Steven Adams, you got Alperen Şengün, you got a Men Thompson who just got crazy hops and offensive rebound. And I think Houston can be the faster team than Los Angeles. It really depends what angle you want to attack it at, right? You got Tari Eason, and Men Thompson is crazy in transition. Reed Shepherd is really flourished as a backup PG now for this team. And Reed Shepherd's really interesting because, I think it was something I saw on Twitter, but like Reed Shepherd is like one of the top guys in the league when it comes to like mismatches, when it comes to like, if you put a big on him, it's like a pretty high chance he's going to walk away with some sort of steal or block shot contest. Bigs aren't scoring on him. His biggest weakness in defense is actually just like pure one-on-one basketball. It's kind of like the conversation around Rob Dillingham in Minnesota right now, how Rob Dillingham is really like a passing lane transition guy. He had some great strips in that Thunder game last night where he's stopping Shea going downhill. He's making the right passes and right plays. But in one-on-one isolation, that's not necessarily the guy you want to go to guard some of these premier guys. So Reed has definitely found a way to make a mark in this Houston Rockets defense. They're top 3 in the league for a reason. Obviously, he's a part of that. Again, same thing. This whole conversation surrounding undersized guards, maybe they just have to figure out how to fit in defensively. We're never going to see a Drew Holiday again. I don't think Lou Dort is not Drew Holiday. I don't think anybody was having this conversation, but number one, Lou Dort's built like a linebacker. Number two, Drew Holiday's got one of the greatest defensive IQs we've ever seen. He's still hooping on Portland. Don't disrespect Drew Holiday like that. No disrespect to Lou Dort, but Drew Holiday is incredible. I digress, though. That was just, a little aside about smaller guards and how they might, still have a place in this league, especially defensively, just not in the ways people think. Maybe just being off the bench as a guy who can, get strips on bigger guys, get in those passing lanes, but one-on-one, they might be cooked. I think that the Rockets are bigger, as I was just saying. I think it really depends on this if Şengün and KD can get their motors going early, because if it is a slow game for the Rockets and Luka's like on his 4th 3 from the logo and Reed Shepherd on him, and that Lakers up 10 and you got Rui making a couple dunks and transition threes, Houston, they've got to stay in this game and weather the storm, but it's going to be a lot easier to weather that Luka Doncic tornado if you do get out there early and cement yourself. It's okay, we're a team that does have, this two-headed line in Şengün and Durant, and we also got Amen Thompson, and we also got Jabari Smith Jr., and we also got all these guys. I'm still interested to see what Houston look like, just going off the identity comment what Chad was saying. I'm just interested to see what they look like with Dorian Finney-Smith off the bench. He still has not touched the court this season, I believe, sitting out with an ankle. A good 3-and-D guy, catch and shoot guy who doesn't necessarily have to bear the offensive load. I think the issue with some of these role players on the Lakers is they're expecting them to be like a clear number 3 option when that's never been their role. And it's like Vanderbilt, right? Like when they were just playing their depth because, Braun and Luka were out and Reeves was still hooping, those guys look good because they could play their roles and be good in their roles instead of, hey, you're in Los Angeles, buddy. I know you're just a one-way player, Jared Vanderbilt, and you were all defensive caliber in 2022, but now we need you to be 15 and 10 man. That's not his job. And I think some of it, when the Lakers do have their full depth, that's where all these guys can get minutes and play their roles. But I think Dorian Finney-Smith on the Rockets, where he doesn't have to be like a 15 points per game per night. Gabe Vincent just tricked everybody with Miami Heat Black Magic. But he just tricked everybody. That Celtics series, I'm happy. I'm happy Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent. I'm glad y'all in the NBA. I'm also glad y'all have not done what y'all did to my team since then. Max Strus, I'm happy.
Hey, Max Strus is the only one who actually worked out.
Max Strus is the only one.
Circle, he's the only one who actually still plays well.
Miami should have just kept that together and developed them. That was so weird to me. They fit perfect in that system. But with that said, I am going to pick the Rockets. Our last matchup, Timberwolves Nuggets. I feel like this is going to be a good one. I also think Jokic is going to have 50. I'm going to start with Royce first. How you see this matchup going?
Yeah, this is the one we're all waiting for. I think this is going to be the closest. Like, this is the epitome of what a Christmas game should be. We saw that game they just had. It was a very close game until overtime. The Nuggets started to pull away. But yeah, I got the Nuggets winning this one. Jokic tends to... First off, I think he's just going to want to get this game over with as quick as possible so he can go back to his family on Christmas. But second of all, he tends to up his game when he plays the top tier bigs like Rudy Gobert, Sabonis, Mobley, all these guys. Anthony Davis, he always ups his game, and he's going to be yeah, you might be seen as a top rim protector, top defender in general, but when you play me, right, brother, I have 47, right? I think it's going to be one of those games from Jokic. I don't think it's going to be a blowout though. We saw what the Timberwolves did to OKC last night. They're legit. They can rock with the best of them every night. But yeah, I think when you have Jokic on your team, it's kind of hard to ever say they're ever going to lose a game. But yeah, it will definitely be a close one. I don't think it will go to OT or past 48 minutes, but it will definitely be down to a wire.
Daniel, how you feeling?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's definitely going to be a close game. I'm trying to go with my gut here because that's how close the game is, but I'm going to go with the Nuggets just because they have Jokic. I feel like there is going to be times where Jokic is just going to take advantage of Rudy Gobert's, because he's a great defender, of course, but I just think he kind of freezes like a deer in headlights whenever he plays Jokic. And on top of that, offensively, I don't think Gobert can contribute very well to this Minnesota offense. So I'm going to go with the Nuggets based on that. Jamal Murray has also been acting like he's playing the Lakers every time again. And yeah, I'm just going to go based off that as well. The only way I can see the Timberwolves winning this game is if, they have an Ant takeover, which is very possible. But I just think the Nuggets are a better team. Yes, the Timberwolves just beat the Thunder, but yeah, I don't see the hype around it as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the Nuggets with this win.
Jay, how we feeling?
I'm probably gonna go with the Nuggets. It's kind of like there's only real three unstoppable centers. It's Wemby, Giannis, and then Jokic at one. The Timberwolves, they don't have an answer for Jokic at all. I don't trust Ruby. Never even seen Ruby, I don't think, in my lifetime give Jokic the work. I think it's going to be Jokic game, and then I just like the team in general for the Nuggets. Like, I feel like the Nuggets have a stronger supporting cast. Jamal Murray, like Daniel was saying, he's playing like he's playing the Lakers every single night so far this year. I do like Aaron Gordon. I'm assuming it's going to be everyone's healthy. I haven't really checked the injury report, but the supporting cast is better. And the thing about watching the game, even like the win that the Wolves had against the Thunder, Julius Randle is kind of a liability at times. I don't trust Julius and that Timberwolves supporting cast. I only trust Naz Reid and Ant to really contribute to the offense. Aside from those two, and you can say McDaniels, but I don't really trust that whole supporting cast, and I feel like overall the Wolves are not as built as a team, and they have the coaching edge. That's the only thing I'll give them, and the way that they could win is Daniel said Ant take over, and if Julius actually hoops that night, I do think they can escape with a win against Denver. But if those don't happen, it's going to be a Denver 15-point win.
I think I would agree with that. I think the only thing that I do want to, just put out there is that no Aaron Gordon, at least I don't think because of a hamstring injury. That does give Julius Randle a window. I don't know if it does give Julius Randle a window to possibly do something. I'm not saying it's a lock, but no Aaron Gordon. I mean, the Nuggets are still 20-6 without Aaron Gordon, so I'm not saying that as good as Aaron Gordon was playing as well, but I'm not saying that, Aaron Gordon is, make or break for this Nuggets team. They're still a pretty good team without Aaron Gordon. But I do think that gives Julius Randle a chance to, create in the paint. That also gives Naz Reid a chance to create in the paint because, Nuggets defense is now looking like Jonas Valanciunas and Nikola Jokic. That post defense is not as scary when you don't have a guy like Aaron Gordon who can, truth be told, guard 1 through 5. I do think the Nuggets are still going to win this game. When you're asking Rob Dillingham to stop Jamal Murray, I don't think that's going to end well. Dante DiVincenzo is a good defender, but I don't think he's going to stop Jamal Murray for 48 minutes, especially with some of the sets Denver runs. I think that the Nuggets, honestly, I think similar to what Chow was saying, I think it's going to be close to the fourth, and it's just going to be some of those steals, some of those transition runs. No Peyton Watson either, possibly, but I still do think the Nuggets have enough.
Bond is also, I believe, I know Bond's hurt for a fact.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why there's a door for the Wolves.
There's a door.
I still don't trust the Wolves supporting. I just don't trust it.
Like even last night, the Thunder went on like an 11-3 run because the Wolves supporting cast just wasn't showing up for Ant. There's a thing if you do throw a zone on the Wolves, they all kind of just like corner sit. And I was like, yo, why are you, like I saw a possession where Dante DiVincenzo just did do him cuz offense and bricked a contested midi on J-Dub, and Ant did not touch the ball at all at one point in that possession. This was like with 1 minute and 9 seconds to go. The Timberwolves are a team staying on identity, going back to what I was saying about the Rockets. I don't know what the Timberwolves' identity is on offense. I mean, you had that great series against the Lakers, which, really was just like Luka got one leg, Reeves got one leg, and Braun is 40, and they also have no depth. You had
the Wolves are just bigger.
Yeah.
On just purely because they were just bigger than the Lakers.
Then you had that the Warriors series where, I think all of us can agree Steph Curry, when he's like, I don't have a Men Thompson on Dylan Brooks on me anymore, 40. I think we all can agree I will say this right now, with Steph Curry, the Warriors would have beat the Timberwolves in 5 games. 5 to 6. I'm not giving that Timberwolves 6 games.
Yeah, they were because honestly they were struggling within even
with
the injured they struggle with the injured Warriors, bro. Like it's not ridiculous to say that now.
They were winning games.
But they were struggling.
That year, Kuminga was doing solid. Jimmy Butler was actually really hooping. The Warriors actually, post Jimmy Butler trade that last season, they had, I think, a top 3 record.
We 21-7.
Yeah, 21-7. They were hot. Like they really could have. I'm not saying they win the finals, but I think they give the Thunder the work. Like they would have
It
beat the
depends
Wolves.
on Jimmy because he also, Jimmy also like kind of bruised his tailbone. So it was one of those things where it's like, Jimmy was never 100 after that first play from Amen Thompson either. But, I do think that the Wolves, despite going to the Western Conference Finals 2 times now, one time you went, Kyrie just smoked y'all, Luka just smoked y'all. It was bad. Y'all lost in 5. You go back to the Western Conference Finals again, you lose in 5. I'm not seeing the next step for the Wolves, and that's why I'm saying just trade for Giannis. I digress, but I'm not seeing the next step. I know we talk about like the depth of the Wolves, all that. I don't know like what else they can do to be a better team. They're just kind of like they can give any like if the NBA playoffs were like NFL and it was one game, many can give anybody the works on a way to the finals. But in a 7-game series, I'm not picking them against the Spurs, the Rockets, the Nuggets, the Thunder. It's a hard bargain if Reeves really hooping like that. Lakers is with a healthy Luka, it's a hard bargain. It's like 6 teams. I'm not confident picking the Timberwolves over. Like they're like the 7th seed right now. They are a perfect 7th seed in terms of I don't think you're better than any of the teams above you over the course of a 7-game series. With that being said, I think Ant's going to give us some great moments. I think he's going to come in there and do everything he can to get that win. I'm not discounting the Timberwolves winning. I think it's very winnable, but just, off of Nikola Jokic just teeing it up, like Roy said, against the Wolves, I'm thinking like a 12-point win. Like I'm seeing like 118, 130, something like that. Calm Lil Jokic triple-double. But that's gonna do it for our Christmas game predictions. Most of us, 2 of us are rocking with the Knicks, 2 of us are rocking with the Cavs. Nobody's excited for the Warriors and Mavericks. We're just, that's this.
I'm excited to see Cooper Flag play, but that's like about it.
Yeah, that's like a TV. That's like a TV break. I'm gonna finish up Stranger Things when that happens.
I'm gonna watch some football,
We not watching NBA, NFL. We not watching. We not watching Christmas NFL on Netflix. No, we're not.
My Cowboys are playing. That's all I'm watching.
My mid is playing.
We are not.
We as a collective are not watching that on
Bio
Christmas.
is not watching NFL Christmas.
NBA on Christmas is better than NFL on Thanksgiving. I will say that.
Yeah, y'all sucked on y'all Black Friday game. Get out of here. Get out of here.
We go shopping.
Man, Hollister having 50% off, bro. I'm not watching no Eagles, Bears, Black Friday game. They're like,
that's also where I'm like, that's also where like the narrative is, where it's like, okay, like I understand like when it comes to Black Friday football, Thanksgiving is obviously meant for football, but Black Friday doesn't make any sense. Just stick to
we might as well have NBA Kwanzaa games, bro.
Just stick to Thanksgiving and then stick to just NFL Sunday. That's it.
Well, like I said, we having the NBA Kwanzaa game, bro. We having the NBA countdown on Kwanzaa. Let's get it. We got Stephen A. Smith and the Kente cloth. Let's get it. Like that's basically that's basically like how it feels. But we also had a good matchup in the Spurs and Thunder. Most of us rocking with the Spurs. Chad rocking with the Thunder. Rockets are they're too big. That's how some of us feel. Dan's on the Lakers, but it really depends whether or not Luka can carry.
It depends.
And then finally, we got the Nuggets beating the Timberwolves. We can all.
Anthony Edwards, if you can hear us, please save us. Please save us, Anthony Edwards.
Save us. We rocking with the Nuggets, though.
I'm saying that's the only way the.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I like Jokic, bro, but if Jamal Murray has a 50 ball, I'm hating him forever.
You hate him already, bro. This is not going to change your opinion.
Exactly. Yeah.
We love Jamal Murray, except for 2024 Olympics. Except for 2024 Olympics, Jamal Murray.
Man, he put up a stinger in general. I think that's gonna do it, guys.
Yeah. With that being said, this I had Samajai cut me off and did the outro last time. Royce, you want to do the outro this time?
With that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Box and One. Those are Christmas predictions. As always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow us on all the social medias: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. We on Threads too. Wherever you get your hoops content, we're there.
Spotify.
Yes, Spotify will be on there soon. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.